Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's webinar. This is Lindsay Faria. I'm Director of Partner Marketing here today at Intronis MSP Solutions, and I'm joined by my colleague, Andrew Brereton. So thanks for making time for us today. I know Andrew has a great presentation lined up for all of you on Detect, Prevent, Recover. It's a unique approach that we take here at Intronis, and we're looking forward to chatting about it with all of you. Before we get started, let's just run through some brief housekeeping. So during the presentation, we encourage you to go ahead and ask your questions. You can use the questions panel to the right of your GoToWebinar screen, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. And also at the end of the webinar, a short survey will pop up on your screens, just a couple of quick questions, and that helps us improve the quality of these events as we go forward with them and glean some insight from your experience with them. So if you don't mind, just spare us 2 seconds and answer those 2 quick questions in the survey. Another reminder I wanted to share, we promised all of you when you were invited to this that we were going to be raffling off some tickets to make this a little bit more fun. And we actually have tickets to a couple of events at Fenway Park, and one lucky winner is going to be getting their choice of the following events. So we have tickets to James Taylor, we have tickets to the Red Sox versus Yankees game on the 18th, and we also have tickets to the Lady Gaga concert in September. So when the event today is over, we're going to use a raffle tool. We will reach out to the winner and let them select their choice from those events. So hopefully that's some fun, and I think we've got enough selection here that we can make somebody really happy. So, all right, without further ado, I'll pass it over to Andrew. So, Andrew's your regional account director. A lot of partners and a lot of other service providers who are yet to work with Intronis MSP Solutions have already met Andrew. He's out on the road. He does this day in and day out, talking to service providers about their challenges and how they can grow their business and how they can better protect their customers. So he really knows his stuff, and hopefully everybody takes something educational and useful from today's chat. All right, Andrew, why don't you fill everybody in on your agenda?
Hi, thank you very much, Lindsay. Everyone, thank you very much for joining me today. During today's free presentation, we're going to start off by talking about the security landscape that you guys are having to deal with day in and day out. And then, as Lindsay mentioned, talk about the very unique approach Barracuda and Intronis has taken to the market with a detect, prevent, and recover approach. Towards the end of the presentation, we'll talk about some of the enablement resources and services all of our partners get access to, and we'll wrap up again with some questions and then hopefully picking out a winner for the raffle here. Now, without further ado, let's take a quick peek at the landscape in today's environment. So security threats are common, but especially common in the space that you guys are dealing with, the small to medium businesses. A lot of it having to do with the lack of education for the end users. Now, we often speak at our partners' events, and the sheer number of blank stares when speaking about cyber attacks and the impact on themselves is astonishing with end users. Now, of course, as part of the total advantage of working with Intronis is we enable our partners to be able to secure them properly and also provide the deeper level education to make sure they're up to speed with new threats coming to the market. Now, being managed service providers, you don't have to just deal with email security. You also have to deal with data loss and data prevention. So we understand that business data is extremely vulnerable. It's getting more and more expensive, and it needs to be protected. One of my most favorite stats on this slide is the fact that 81% of all data breaches happen to the SMBs, and this is the market space that managed service providers typically focus on. And you can consider small to medium business ranging anywhere from 1 to 300 employees. Now, in the news, and more recently with Petya, WannaCry, there's been massive email security attacks coming through the vector. Email security is no longer just about preventing excess spam and your basic viruses. The attacks are real, they're more and more sophisticated, and becoming extremely costly. Nearly every day, there is a news story about malware, and a lot of it is actually ransomware, which can cost your customer dearly and cause headaches for yourself as the service provider. I'm sure everyone here at this stage has heard about WannaCry and the absolute devastating impact it had on the world. The sheer fact that it impacted 150 different countries is mind-blowing, especially given the fact there are less than 200 countries in the world today. Now, over 200,000 different machines were targeted during this attack, mainly Microsoft Windows machines who hadn't received the latest patch. Now, with this type of attack, with ransomware, once it actually impacted a single environment in the network, it went into hunter mode and could be detonated by itself and find others vulnerable within the network itself. Now, again, most of the times that this attack occurred, it all goes back to the end user who mistakenly opened an attachment and let the virus out and attack the network. See, the issue you guys face with day in, day out is the fact that SMBs see changes and updates in the IT services as an extra cost, and it's never going to happen to me. And that's why it's imperative that as a service provider, you're armed with the best tools in the business, but also have the tools to help educate the customers about what you need to do to support them. Now, you guys have a tough job on your hands. I mean, on top of the increasingly sophisticated threats you have to worry about, you're constantly dealing with various types of applications and environments deployed today. Add on to the threats that are coming relentlessly and always getting more sophisticated. Your job is now to educate, manage, and scale the ever-changing IT needs of the small to medium businesses, and of course, make sure that they're bought into the importance of security services and data protection. What they really need from you is a good, solid team, which most of the times they can't afford to hire in-house. And that's where the major opportunity is for the managed service providers to provide that service to the customers and expertise. Now that we've gone through a little background on sort of what you guys are facing day in and day out, let's take a look at the unique approach that Barracuda and Intronis are bringing to the market. So with this evolving threat landscape, Barracuda recognizes that security needs to be faster, stronger, and better at securing these threat vectors. However, as you can see, detection alone is not always going to be enough, which is why Barracuda feels that end-to-end security is the best course of action against these threats. Now, of course, detection is going to play a vital role. It is the first step in finding these malicious threats, but they're getting more sophisticated and increasingly harder to detect. For this reason, we developed a few tools to help weed out these malicious threats and increase visibility and stop them before they become a problem. One example that we will be covering is the email threat scanner for Office 365. Now, once we do go ahead and detect some of the threats that are existing in the mailboxes, the next step in the end-to-end security protection is preventing these threats from doing any damages. If the threats can be detected, prevented, problems can now be avoided. Now, in order to help you prevent these malicious attacks, Barracuda's advanced threat protection supporting both the Barracuda Essential Suite and our next generation firewall come into play. Each of these solutions helps to catch and diffuse threats before they go any further. Now, however, as you all know in the IT space, nothing is ever perfect. So though we can detect and prevent most of the attacks that could occur, having an actual continuity plan to recover from is imperative. Now, we want to get you away from, I'll never be hacked, it won't ever happen to me, to having your customers say, I know what happened to me at some point, but when it does, I'll be ready. And this is where the Barracuda Backup and Echo platform come into play. So to start out, we're going to talk about detecting the email threats with Office 365. So this first tool is called the Email Threat Scanner. Some people are on Exchange today, some are on Gmail and so on, but we have seen a massive push towards organizations moving to Office 365 at an accelerated rate for different reasons. So with that, if you're planning on moving to Office 365, or you may already have customers already in the platform and you need to work on migration, you now have a tool to analyze and see if there's any latent threats sitting inside the customer's mailbox. Now, what the email threat scanner does is comes through each mailbox with a fine-tooth comb and scans for them for the latent threats built inside. It is a software as a service that is connected to a highly intelligent backend to our advanced threat protection system that is completely up to date with the latest threats in real time. The scan will provide you with a full report along with recommendation, and it's going to be a full free service that you can use to help educate customers about the threats existing inside their mailboxes today, but also use as a way to encourage them to move to the email security suite to enhance the protection that they need. Now, these steps always shock me. The fact that we've scanned over hundreds of thousands of different mailboxes and knowing that 92% of the times in each domain, we're going to find latent threats. And typically with a domain, we're finding more than 125 different threats. This is absolutely staggering because that just shows you how many customers out there using Office 365 are still at risk for getting ransomware types of attacks like WannaCry or Petya. Now, to give you an example of the report, as you can see in the top left corner, the security score, this is just like being in school. If you got a D on the report card, your parents might not have been too pleased. So in this circumstance, Acme Corp is not doing that great of a job protecting its email and protecting its end users from damaging the company. From the report here, you can actually get drilled down to find out the exact accounts where some of these latent threats are residing. But my favorite aspect is the advanced threats section. If you click onto that, you'll be able to actually look down into a simple attack that the malicious item occurred, and it will actually highlight everything that was going wrong, whether it be disabling Windows Safe Boot and so forth. Now that we know how to detect some of the threats outside, especially in Office 365, move on to how we can prevent the attacks from actually taking place on the customer's network. So when we talk about prevention, we need to cover as many threat vectors as possible, whether it be from email to web applications, remote workers, or even simple employees bringing in a USB stick that might be corrupted. You can't deadbolt the front door and keep the window open right next to it and think you're still safe. House has insurance for security breach, such as a robbery, for example, and just like Barracuda offers security for data breach. Think of Intronis and Barracuda as your single vendor providing both the network security, your email security, and data protection needs as an organization, and integrating it into a multi-tenant management console with integrations into some of the major remote monitoring and PSA tools out there. So we'll first talk about the email threat vector. So as we discussed with the threat scanner, just using built-in Microsoft services not necessarily going to protect you against some more of the advanced exploits, spear phishing attacks outside. That's why we built Email Security Essentials, and we're actually recognized by CRNN as one of the top, most impressive vendors out there for Office 365. Now, the Essentials suite for Office 365 actually works for any form of mail. So if you're using Gmail, on-premise Exchange, you can still take advantage of the Email Security Suite and advanced threat protection. So another feature that is going to fall under Prevent category and is actually part of the Barracuda Essentials Suite is a Typosquatting link protection, and this is extremely important. So in phishing emails, hackers are trying to create links that look credible in an effort to make you click on them. I mean, we all spell things wrong from time to time, and we also skim through reading things instead of actually taking the time to fully read it. But there's more to it. A Typosquatting link attack will purposely misspell a word, insert it into a link, and put it into an email with the hopes that the recipient won't notice. And this happens more times than I can count, and I hear these stories all over every day. Well, it could just be the fact that someone just misspelled the word Bank of America, but there's been a new type of squatting attack called homograph. And what this is actually doing is, in the example you can see on here, someone changed the word example with a P and used actually the Greek letter in its place to make it appear as if it's a real link. To the naked eye, it's near impossible to tell, but that's why you use the email security service like Essentials to prevent this from going forward to the customer. So when Barracuda actually catches these links, we're going to go ahead and rewrite them completely. And when we do rewrite them, we ensure that they always point back to the Essentials service. So when someone clicks on that Typosquatting link at any point in time, Essentials will interrogate the endpoint of the link. Now, if it's a good known link, the user will be able to allow it to go right directly to there with no problems. However, if it is not a known link, it will provide the user with a pop-up asking if they actually wanted to go there or not. In addition, they will also provide the end user with some online training from one of our partners, which shows them how to identify suspicious links and phishing emails. If you don't do this practice today with customers, it's highly recommended because you'll be shocked by the amount of times that people will click on any type of email coming through. Now, on the next slide here, if I can get to my slide. What I'm trying to show you is what you're getting right now today with built-in Microsoft email security, Exchange Defender Online, or for many of you that still deal with the on-prem Exchange environments, Forefront. On the left side, underneath the red line is what's built in today, free of charge with Microsoft. It's again great at getting your basic spam and virus services away. A lot of people say we lose about 85% of our spam, but what it's not capturing is more of these advanced exploits, the Typosquatting, spear phishing attacks that are plaguing the customers and where they're losing all their data and their money. Now on the right side is Barracuda's Essentials Suite. Now, as you can see, there's quite a lot of intent and analysis going on during the process of analyzing all these emails. And just like you can get link protection and advanced threat detection in Office 365, you get a heck of a lot more for a lot less money. For example, Office 365 will charge you $2 per mailbox just to get everything on the left, where starting at just $1.70, you get everything on the right. And did I forget to mention, you also get encryption, which is imperative for any business running for HIPAA or FINRA regulations and compliance. Now, we covered a little bit the email threat vector. The most imperative aspect of a network is going to be the network security. Gone are the days that you can just use a UTM-based firewall service, plug and play, and hope that the firmware updates itself, and you're rocking and rolling. You need to get a bit more advanced. And with the Barracuda next generation firewall, we're bringing as many security features all built into a fixed monthly cost with every subscription added, because we do not believe that a customer should go unprotected just because they need to save an extra 50 cents a month. So just some key features with the Barracuda firewall is going to be our malware, dual antivirus engines, DDoS protection, and of course, the thing I'll keep talking about day in, day out, advanced threat protection, which we'll dive into deeper right now. What really differentiates all these products is a service that we run, which we call Barracuda Advanced Threat Protection. Now, remember what we have learned so far and the need to protect against all the different threats across all of the threat vectors on all of the attack surfaces. Barracuda has created a multi-layered threat detection system that has been optimized and set up into the cloud. It's essentially a cloud-based sandbox that includes a lot of other functions as well, which we'll dive into right now. So what we have done is we have created a microservice architecture setup in the cloud, so as an email or file comes in, it first hits our signature analysis system, which compares the file or attachment against any existing known threats. It's extremely fast, and at the bottom layer, we can actually remove massive amounts of malware. Now, the next two layers are behavioral and static analysis. These layers basically look into the code to see how it's behaving. It looks for spurious coding, algorithms, excessive loops, or excessively long timers. These three layers combine to catch over 95% of the threats before they even hit your sandbox. Now, this is extremely important because if you send 95% of those threats to your sandbox, it's A, going to be costly, but B, provide a long, lengthy process to analyze everything and cause delays for the customer. The idea here is to create layers to shield your sandbox so only the really bad stuff gets sent there. In an ideal world, this would mean that only once will a new threat ever get to the sandbox. This advanced threat detection system is actually connected to all of our Barracudas and solutions, products and solutions that you can see on the right-hand side. So this means Barracuda's entire portfolio, email security service, email security gateway, next generation firewall, web application firewall, and more are all connected to our ATP. Now, this is very important because Barracuda has over 240,000 deployments of endpoints out there in the world, all securing different threat vectors. We are taking all of this threat intelligence from honeypots, crawlers, customer submissions, and Barracuda's labs, and we bring this intelligence into our system and share it amongst all of our product portfolio systems. So for an example, let's take a user in China that sees an email threat come in. The email threat will eventually be sent up to the sandbox just because we've never seen that threat and it's brand new. The information, by means of machine learning, then creates a signature. This means that the next time the same threat is seen in London, by means of an upload onto a website, the web application firewall intercepting it will see it's a signature and not have to send that file up to the sandbox. That is a differentiation, and that is truly unique to Barracuda as an organization. So this layered approach is going to provide pre-filtering for a faster response time. This means that attacks can be stopped all the way up the ladder, saving you from sending every single attachment to that sandbox and bogging it down. These threats are going to be shared across all products and solutions around the world and provide extensive knowledge sharing in stopping and blocking these threats from occurring moving forward and speeding up your network speeds. I want to take a moment here just to bring up a little point of WannaCry. So this report, once it came through, was actually stopped by a static layer, not even the sandboxing environment. The more detailed report shows that it did hit our system anytime on Friday, and if it had gone through our dynamic layer, and it would have been submitted around 10 o'clock PST. Now, regardless, if WannaCry would have never happened, it would have actually never made it to our BATP surface anyways. Now, this is my favorite graph I've seen about WannaCry. So as you can see, we're getting a lot of threats day in, day out from all the different product sets. But on 5/11, when WannaCry hit, we had an increase of 7,444,000% in the number of blocks that our advanced threat protection protected against. Now, you may think that's everyone being sandboxed. In fact, it's actually more happening in the dynamic and static layer before it actually has to be sandboxed because we already had the signatures in our database. This just goes to show the importance of having something like advanced threat protection in both your network security and email security service. Moving on, we want to talk about the final step in our end-to-end security. That's going to be recovery. We believe data protection should be simple, easy, fast. I'm sure that'll make your life a lot easier. So Barracuda's backup is a comprehensive cloud-integrated solution for protecting physical, virtual, and SaaS applications as well. Barracuda Backup is simple to deploy, easy to manage through our centralized cloud administration, and offers built-in offsite replication. Now, with an extensive range of supported environments, Barracuda can back up and replace multi-vendor piecemeal backup solutions with an all-in-one backup appliance, our virtual appliance for virtual instances, or go with our software-based version with the Echo platform. When we talk about backup appliances, everyone thinks it's more of a high-end solution, which it is for some of those customers that require a higher RTO and RPO objective. But the constant feedback we ever received in the industry is it's too costly. My customers don't want to pay $5,000 up front and then monthly or yearly charges for cloud storage. We got rid of those days. As the MSP division, we now offer Barracuda's backup appliances at a fixed monthly cost with everything included. That's going to be your hardware, the software, mirrored cloud storage, and of course, your hardware refresh and warranty. The backup appliance is going to be great for customers, needing the high RTO and RPO, but if they need some level of disaster recovery, being able to boot up VMs inside of data center through our live boot or cloud live boot functionality. Now, in conjunction with the Barracuda backup appliance is a great complement, the Echo platform. This is your software-based backup solution where you can bring your own device. This is going to allow you to do your local backups to your choice of destination and provide you file folder level backups, full system state images, and native plugins for VMware and Hyper-V as well. Today, the Echo platform is completely rebrandable, so you can place your own logo and brand on it. And of course, we have the integrations into the remote monitoring platforms and PSA tools today. We're looking at bringing those integrations over to the Barracuda portfolio very soon. To wrap everything up is to give you a bit of an insight to our vision here. We're not here to be just a technology vendor. We're a partnership. We're trying to provide you coverage on 3 different vectors: email, network, and data protection. But on top of that, we have actually services we provide to actually offload some of the work to us with the experts at hand. But also, more importantly, we develop partner resources to empower you guys to grow your business as well, which leads us over to the enablement resources and services section. What you see here is just one example of one of the tools we developed for our partners, courtesy of Lindsay and her team. It's basically a full presentation, so you can go out and educate your customers about cybersecurity, the importance of the attacks that are occurring, some of the statistics that will actually scare them into realizing how important it is to beef up the security. We understand you guys have a hard job trying to sell the solution itself and then trying to get them educated and listen. So we've gone ahead and developed a full technology stack and some great tools like Lunch and Learns, presentations, full emailers, presentations, tweets, LinkedIn posts to help you educate the customer base and moving towards a more secure future. One other item you get as part of our partnership is access to some of our professional services. Now, this is my favorite one. It's our managed firewall. So today, you can go ahead and purchase a firewall, manage it yourself, or for a slight cost per month, we actually take care of everything for you, from pre-installation configuration to now being monitored and managed by 24/7, 365 NOC service, ensuring that your customer's network is always optimized and any threat that isn't automatically picked up is immediately remedied. And of course, the best part is you now get monthly reports to send to your customers about the beautiful job you're doing in protecting their network, all while doing this, not having to hire a new technical resource or go through extensive training on a new firewall. This concept goes exactly the same thing for our managed backup appliances. Or again, we're going to handle everything for you from the configuration and setup. Your responsibility, just make sure you go ahead and plug it in at the customer site and leave it to us to handle the rest. Now, for those that are using the Echo platform, for example, we also, once again, offer another managed service where we'll take care of all the customers' backups for you. And the only time you're ever involved will be to help out during the restore process, because the customer will call you first, since it is your service you're providing. Now, for me, that is mostly everything I have today, so let's do a quick wrap up. If you want to learn more about any of the different products we talked about today, you can call us right at this number here, or just go directly to the website to fill out a form to request a demo. Now, if you're getting a little antsy and you want to get your hands dirty real quick, you've got my email address right here, and I'd be more than happy to set you up with an NFR for any of the products or services we offer today. And just, I won't forget, we will be taking the raffle winner at the very end, and be notifying them by the end of the day to get this selection of what they want. Though if you take the Red Sox tickets, I'll come join you, just because I'm happy to take you out there.
Thanks, Andrew. Lots of good stuff in there. So now we can take any questions that anyone on the line has. I'm going to give you a moment to go ahead and type those in. One question that I've seen a couple times is whether or not a recording will be made available of this webinar, and the answer to that is yes. We'll be making the recording available later today, or at the worst case by tomorrow morning. And we'll go ahead and send out a link to you all where you can go ahead and review that at your leisure. And again, feel free to reach out to Andrew. You have his contact information now. If any questions do pop up, between now and then. Andrew, is there anything else that you want to add? Anything?
I think if you haven't done already, if any customers are on Office 365, please contact me as soon as possible. I'd love to get the threat scanner in your hands then, so you can really see what customers are actually open to right now today in the mailbox.
All right, great. So here's the plan of attack for anyone who is hoping that they're going to be the lucky winner of those tickets. So we need to go and export the attendee list, because there's quite a few people on the line. We want to make sure everybody gets in there. We got to go export that. We'll put it in our raffle picker tool, and we'll be reaching out within 30 minutes to the winner of that, and we'll let you select what event you're going to be going to. So keep an eye out on your inbox for the recording, and hopefully we'll be calling you this afternoon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great afternoon.